cover and retune. It's a VZ Thunder, which was one of the 6 litre ones with the E38 computer in it. This car has, I can tell you a little bit about it, it's a twin turbo system. Came into us with the owner not knowing that much about what was going on with it, and came for a retune and just to check over and sort out. What it actually is, and is essentially, it looks like it is that engine, the LSX 376, with a twin turbo of the AVO kits on there. It's obviously got a sheet metal manifold, the cathedral port cylinder head, the LS2 cylinder head, essentially fairly thoroughly done. Yeah, it's got, you know, the coils are mounted in under the intake manifold there, which gets them out of the road. Some leads are a little bit longer. There are a few details I'd like to sort of change around in the long term we may get to play with. The likes of the air cleaners being under the bonnet means that they're going to draw in hot air when you're driving around. I have done these before where I've modified them and put the air cleaners out underneath the guards so that they're not in that hot air. And I've had to do a fair bit of sorting out with the wiring. The battery wasn't quite set up properly, and there's a nice big fuel pump system in there, probably a bit more than it needs, but essentially 3 044 fuel pumps, so it's certainly very thoroughly covered. And everything's working pretty well otherwise. Over here at the power graph, you'll see what it actually did. This car, essentially where it was starting to fall over, and it was getting just over the 610 horsepower at the tyres. You'll see that really the power graphs look very similar up to around just before around about the 3000 revs, where we've managed to tune in about another 10 horsepower at that point. And really, as you see, this is actually as it goes onto the wastegate and then starts to control things. You can see it keeps a good 40 horsepower increase right across the range, and then at the top here it was falling off, managed to make it pull through the 660 horsepower at the tyres. That's, you know, pretty decent horsepower. 661 horsepower on the tyres. From where it was running in, its maximum power was a little bit lower, but was back down at the 610 horsepower of the tyres. So still pretty decent. Back down here at this point where this little ramp here, which you see as they come on to boost, the angle of this ramp through up there is what makes the turbo cars spin the wheels so easily. They will really, in 4th gear at 80 k's an hour, they're going to break traction because of that really aggressive rate of acceleration through there, which is also found in the torque curve. That's what makes them spin the wheels. But this is still where a lot will sort of run out of puff. This is, I'd say, got the larger compressors on it in the turbo side of things, so it's able to hold its head up. If you look over to the boost graph, see what sort of boost it's running. At that peak point, we're actually running in the 16-17 pounds of boost. I haven't adjusted any of the boost, it's just in the tune, and you can see back down to sort of 15 pounds, and by the end of it we're starting to run out of compressor. We're back down in the sort of 13 pounds is where it's heading down to. But still pretty decent. This thing's going to go pretty well on the road.